Welcome to Stories, Wisdom, and Recipes. My name is Lawrence Pugliese. It's nice to have you with us. On today's program, we have Sandra Burgett Miller talking about a book she's working on. And we have Senor Sam Stavala, who'll be sharing us a recipe known as the lentil soup of Adams Avenue. And the Rich Jenkins Aspiring Trio featuring Mr. Woodyats on violin and maybe a Mr. Coleman later on. So stay tuned for that. Before we get into the thick of things, I want to read an excerpt from a book entitled Fear and Loathing in America by Hunter S. Thompson. This is an excerpt from his author's note. Beer on whiskey, mighty risky. Whiskey on beer, never fear. That is a rule I learned early, and it has always served me well. I don't take credit for it, but I will pass it along as truth. It has stood the test of experience. All I can see for sure is that I got what they call an adult dose of American political reality in an era when the nation seemed to be going up in flames every day of every week. There was no relief from it, and no place to hide. You didn't have to be a revolutionary to be part of the revolution. And even if you were innocent, you could be beaten and gassed just for watching. In a 4-year span, I was tear-gassed or beaten or chased like a rat by police about 200 times in at least 20 states, from Key Biscayne to the Olympic Peninsula, from Gainesville and Miami to Montreal and Austin and the gates of Beverly Hills. I had such a steady diet of riot control gas that I became a junkie, and I still get nostalgic for it on slow nights. I came to know gunfire and panic and the sight of my own blood on the streets. I knew every airport in the country before they had metal detectors, and when you could still smoke on planes. Pilots knew me by name, and stewardesses took me home when my flights were grounded by snow. I went without sleep for 70 or 80 hours at a time, and often wrote 5,000 words in one sitting. It was a brutal life, and I loved it. My main luxury in those years, a necessary luxury in fact, was the ability to work in and out of my house base fortress in Woody Creek. It was a very important psychic anchor for me, a crucial grounding point where I always knew I had love, friends, and good neighbors. It was like my personal lighthouse that I could see from anywhere in the world, no matter where I was or how weird and crazy and dangerous it got. Everything would be okay if I could just make it home. When I made that hairpin turn up the hill onto Woody Creek Road, I knew I was safe. Or at least I was safe from my enemies. Nobody is safe from their friends, and especially not me. I have never really worried about my enemies, not even when they included the president, the director of the FBI, or the district attorneys in 5 states. I am generally proud of my enemies. The list is long, and I still hate every one of them. I have forgiven a lot of the minor sins, but the major ones will get me cranked up in a matter of seconds on a hot, rainy day in the wrong town. Jesus, this riff could go on and on. So let's leave it for now, except to add in bold face, thanks to Sandy Thompson and Juan Thompson, who had to live with the whole bizarre saga and kept the home fires burning at all times. You bet. We need those fires, Bubba, and we need that place to laugh. So, thanks again, and may the right gods fall in love with you like I did. Hunter S. Thompson, Woody Creek, Colorado, August 20th, 2000. And in a modest attempt of showing respect to this great American, I'd like to dedicate this episode to Mr. Hunter S. Thompson. Thank you, sir. The Richard Jenkins Duo.
Rest in peace, Hunter. No one to talk with all by myself. No one to walk with, but I'm happy on the ship. And misbehaving, yeah, I'm saving my love for you. I know for certain the world I love. I'm through with flirting, it's just you I'm thinking of. And misbehaving, yeah, I'm saving my love for you. Like Jack Horner, yeah, in a corner hall. Don't go nowhere. What do I care? Your kiss is worth waiting for. Believe me. I know for certain the world I love. I'm through with flirting. It's just you I'm thinking of. And misbehaving, yeah, I'm saving my love for you.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Whew. Mr. Jenkins, Mr. Woodyat will be back later to perform some more music off of Mr. Rich Jenkins' new CD. Hopefully you have a chance to check it out. It's a great CD, by the way. And again, Mr. Hunter S. Thompson, great American. Buy his books. Check out his unique insights and his individual wild spirit that is Americana, in my opinion. Very smart man. All righty, another very smart person at the table today, a native daughter of northeastern Pennsylvania.
Yes.
And you're going to hear her story, Ms. Sandra Burgett Miller. Thank you for being here, Sandra.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Now, you're working on a book,
Yes, I am.
and I wanted to talk about it if you're into sharing a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah? Okay, well, tell us a little bit about the book.
Well, I'm currently doing a book on the history of the Burgett family, and on behalf of the Burgett family, there's also Negro spiritual poems in the book that I've come across while I was doing genealogy of the Burgett family.
And what compelled you? I mean, you're not a writer by trade.
No.
What compelled you to start writing a book?
Well, my father was in the Air Force for 20 years, and we lived all around the world. And when we, came here, he retired. He retired in Scranton. And I was wondering, why were we here? And he said, this is where he was born and raised. And I wanted to know, well, where were we? Where are our other ancestors? Where are we actually from? Like, where were we slaves? And he said, well, I was born here. And that's all he could give me. He had no idea. He had no idea where in Scranton, or should I say, where the people were from.
So you were, out of curiosity, you needed more information.
Yes.
So you figured.
I started asking questions.
And then you, did you go to the library?
Yes, I did. First I went to, I talked to a great uncle. He was 90, and he told me, I asked him, where were the Burgetts originally from? We have a Bible that lets us know in the Bible that my great-great-grandfather, they have his name was Thomas Burgett, and they already have it in the Bible that our actual slave name was Summers.
Summers.
Yes.
So this is a family Bible that was passed down?
Passed down.
How old was that, do you know?
Actually, I'm not sure. I know that my Uncle James was 90, and it was in his possession.
So in there you found a couple of names. Uncle James gave you a little bit of direction.
Yes, yes. He gave me a lot of stories, and he gave me a little direction. But he couldn't tell me where we were from. As far as he knew, we were from Scranton. He said, I was born in Waverly, and my father was born in Waverly. And if he was 90, and his father was born in Waverly, then it left me thinking, well, we had to have came from somewhere because we were slaves. And knowing that our original name was Summers, and that the Bible says it was changed to Burgett during the Underground Railroad, that's what really got me looking.
Now, the Underground Railroad, I think a lot of people know, or if they don't, they should, came through this area and went right through Waverly.
Yes, it did.
So that must have rang some bells for you when you.
Yes, it did. I went to a historical society, and I wanted to know more about the Underground Railroad, and she gave me a book called This is Waverly. And as I was looking through the book, it said coming of the slaves, and the first 8 slaves came in 1844. And as I was reading the names, I saw Thomas Burgett's name right in it.
And did you know who Thomas Burgett was?
Yes.
So you've heard of him.
Yes, it was in our Bible.
It was in the
Thomas
Bible.
Burgett. And we knew that he had changed his name, and then as I was going along reading the book, I found that a lot of them came up through Maryland, Burgettville, and we pieced it together that from coming up through Maryland, past Burgettville, when you got to Waverly, they were on their way to Canada. But Waverly was very accepting of the slaves, and they treated them nice. And when he got there and they asked him his name, he just said Thomas Burgett.
So he took the name of Burgettville.
Burgettville.
Wow.
And since they knew that he knew that his masters would come looking for him, so that's why he would change his name.
So he escaped. He
was a fugitive.
He didn't buy his freedom, or anything.
Yes.
He was a fugitive in
He
the
was
eyes
a fugitive slave, yes.
of the slave owners. He was a fugitive.
Yes.
In his eyes, I'm sure he was a free man.
Yes. Well, in his eyes, he was a free man, and I really appreciate that he probably decided he just had to go.
What year was this?
Well, they first got to Waverly in 1844.
1844.
8. The first 8 slaves came to Waverly in 1844 on Carbondale Road, and at one time there was 75 blacks on Carbondale Road, and they used to call it Darky Hill.
This is a section of Waverly.
On Carbondale Road,
Carbondale
yes.
Road. They used to call it
Darky Hill.
Darky Hill.
Because all the slaves came, and once they realized that the people in Waverly would protect them, like slave owners did come to Waverly to look for their people that had ran away, but Waverly, the sympathizers, they ran them away.
That's good to
So my great-great-grandfather, he settled there because he felt safe.
So your great-great-grandfather's Thomas Burgett.
Thomas Burgett.
Came up through Virginia and Maryland and took on the name of Burgett
Burgettville.
In 1844.
And
Wow.
he arrived here in 1844. Then I looked up census, and I found the first census I found in 1900. And I said, you know what? My uncle James is correct. I said he's 90, but they're here in the book. They're on Carbondale Road in 1900 even. Benjamin was the father, and he had 15 children, but 3 of them passed away. So then he had the 12. So then I looked up the next census, and I found 1880. They were still there at the same lot, the same address on
Carbondale Road.
Carbondale Road. So I was like, we were still here in 1880. And then I went looking for more, and I found the 1860 census. And we were still there in 1860.
Wow.
And that's how I really just started getting deeper into searching.
Wow, it must have been exciting.
It was very exciting, especially that all of our family is buried in Hickory Grove. It's a cemetery, and
You have a picture, don't you? Hickory Grove?
yes, I have a picture of Hickory Grove.
I don't know if the cameraman could, let me see if I can hold it up while you talk. I don't know if you guys can clue in on that.
Yeah, this is a cemetery where mostly everybody at one time was buried at Hickory Grove Cemetery. The whole town, there was a section where the blacks were buried and the slaves. There's a lot of slaves buried there, and there's a lot of rich people from Waverly and right along. They're all in one cemetery, and they just recently got a marker for a historical site for the slaves that are buried up in Hickory Grove Cemetery, off of Miller Road.
So you see a lot of tombstones with the name Burgett?
Yes. When I was younger, I really didn't pay attention.
Now, who are these fine-looking, very astute gentlemen?
Well, those are Benjamin's children. This is my grandfather, Fletcher Burgett. This is Austin Burgett. And this is my Uncle James, that was 90. And this is Teddy. And this is Willie. These are all of my my grandfather's brothers. And
So great uncles.
they're my great uncles.
And these are Thomas's.
These are Benjamin's children.
So Thomas, are these Thomas? Well, how
These are Thomas's grandsons.
grandsons? Okay, okay. That's great. That's excellent. Now, have all these gentlemen passed?
Yes, they have. My grandfather was a reverend. My Uncle James, my great Uncle James was a reverend. As a matter of fact, Benjamin, their father, was into the church up in Waverly. They had a little small building that they would have services in, and he was very active into the church.
And from Waverly, then, people migrated down to Scranton, I guess, for probably economic reasons. Is that how?
Yes. Well, actually, we stayed there till, if I'm correct, we moved from Waverly in about 1920, I think 1923. And 2 years later, he died after he came. He sold his house. I'm sure he sold his house for $1,200, and the house is still standing there today, but it's beautiful. He added a third story because he had the 12 children, and back in the days, you had to work. You had to work to own your property. So they let you stay in Waverly, and they took care of you, and they made sure that your slave owners wouldn't come and get you. But he worked as a farmer, and his wife worked as a mammy. And you had to work to own your home. And if you didn't pay, they would take your home and resell it to somebody else. So he worked as a farmer to buy his home, but he died before he purchased it.
And we're talking about
Thomas.
Thomas.
Thomas passed away before he owned his home. And his son Benjamin, he carried on. He continued on working until the home was owned by the Burgetts.
So he bought the home eventually. Benjamin
Yes,
did.
Benjamin finally completed what his father was trying to do.
Wow. And then in 23, you came down. At some point, the family came down to Scranton.
Yes, about 23, they moved to Scranton, across from the Lackawanna County Jail.
Yeah, I guess that's Green Ridge, right?
I still think that's Scranton still.
Yeah, well, the Green Ridge section of Scranton, I think,
Yeah.
isn't it? I don't know. Well, it doesn't make a difference.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Yeah, right around Andy Gavin's, right around that area.
Yes, but he died 2 years later, and then his wife died another year after that. But he had 12 children too. Thomas had 12 children, and then Benjamin had 12 children, and then my grandfather had 6, and my father, John Burgett, he had 6.
And one of his children is
John.
is a police officer.
John
in Scranton.
Burgett, yes, he's a police officer in Scranton.
Yeah, he's a wrestling coach too for the Scranton Junior Knights, Northern League champions.
Yes.
My son's on that team. I had to put a plug in there. And your nephews are on the
Yeah,
team.
my nephew
3 of
Isaiah,
them.
Isaiah, Jacob, and Fletcher,
Yeah. And
and
you might as well mention some of your kids.
Andrew.
I had Chalet as a student at one point.
Chalet, yeah, she's a senior now, and actually I have
7.
7.
Can you believe it? 7 children. She looks like she's 23 years old and she's got 7 kids.
I have a
It's amazing.
19-year-old. I have a 19-year-old son, and I have 6 girls following him. And Chalet is a senior, and she's going to be leaving to go to University of California of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and Jimmy Stewart, it was, no, that's Indiana, University of Indiana, Pennsylvania. Never mind. Just babbling. Go ahead, you talk. You have much more interesting things to say. So Chalet and your the rest of your children, you guys live in what part of Scranton now?
We're on Quincy Avenue,
Quincy
on the
Avenue.
900 block of Quincy. We were on Taylor. We used to live on Taylor Avenue for actually most of my childhood, and then, well, we left Scranton when I was in kindergarten.
Your father was in the
in
service.
the Air Force for 20 years, and then he was up Tobyhanna for another 20.
So you were sort of like bouncing around as an Air Force
And I was,
child?
it left me kind of a strange feeling. People used to think that since my last name was Burgett, that we were from France, or that I was French. So learning about slavery, I thought that we were just slaves of somebody that were French.
Ah, I
So I really never knew at a young age
see. Until you realized Sumner's was the...
until we moved back to Scranton, and I started asking questions when I started meeting more family members.
Now, how has all this affected you, learning about the history of your family, and how deeply rooted it is in the history of the United States, of northeastern Pennsylvania? Has that affected you in a positive way?
Yes, it has. Actually, when I think of how I've been affected is when I think of my grandfather, my great Thomas, when he decided to take that run. He didn't know if he was going to make it or not. The chance that he took to come to freedom was a chance for himself, but he didn't know that the chance he was taking was for me and my family and for many people. We have a lot of relatives in Scranton. We have quite a large family from the Brigettes. We are related to the Straters, the Smiths, and the Harrises. And they're all from Benjamin's children.
Wow.
There's 12 children. And,
A lot of those folks still living here?
still in Scranton today. Actually, there's a Kathy Hardaway.
I know Kathy.
She
She's
is my cousin.
She's your cousin? Yeah, she called me to
Yes, she's a Strater, and her grandmother was a Burgett.
Yeah, Kathy's a good lady. She's in charge of the voter education in
And on
Lackawanna
the school and on the school
County.
board.
And on the
in
school board,
Abington.
Abington Heights, yeah.
Yes.
She's been on the show.
Oh, that's great.
Directing the choir from Shiloh Baptist.
Yes.
So, I guess it's safe to say the African American or the black community in Scranton is an old one. It's been here for a long, long time because of, in large part, the Underground Railroad.
Yes, I would say that. There's a lot of them in Montrose, too.
Montrose, yeah.
Out of Thomas's 12 children, only one stayed. And I still to this today cannot find the rest of them. I feel like if you have 12 children and only one child stayed, which is Benjamin, and most of us come from the offspring of Benjamin's children, it makes me wonder, where did his other 11 children go?
Right, right. Yeah, I'd wonder that as well.
And that's one of the things I'm still trying to
You're still
find.
trying to, you haven't
Still
given
trying-
up?
Still, no.
Now, you were telling me when we talked on the phone that during this experience of finding out your family's history, you were affected in the way of dreams. Well, you'd wake up in the morning and
Yes.
you'd write poetry.
Yes,
And you don't consider yourself a poet, though
No.
these poems, you read a few for me over the phone, are very powerful. Would you mind reading a couple of poems that came to you? And I guess
no
you were
problem.
inspired, right, by the whole
Yes.
quest.
Actually, I guess all the looking and the searching and the looking up the stories and hearing, family stories that happen. One day I just woke up. I had a dream that I was a slave, and when I woke up, I told my daughter, "Give me a pencil, get me a piece of paper. I want to write this down before I forget it." And one of the first ones I wrote was "No dress," and it was, "In the fields I work, no pretty dress. My hands and face look a mess. No gentle passion do I feel. Just get the job done or be killed. Yes, I have a husband, this may be, but the abuse he gets from massa comes out on me. Where do I go? What do I do? Nothing. After a while, massa come get you. No pretty dress, no pretty shoes. I am here to be used. When all done, all through, free to move, still I get no pretty dress, no pretty shoes." That was my very first one. I jumped out the bed that morning.
It's incredibly
Jotted
powerful.
it down.
I think it's a brilliant poem. My compliments.
Thank you very much.
How about another?
Oh, sure.
How about another?
Actually, I have, as I looked, I started to realize how slaves were looked upon, and I started to realize how slaves really had no respect, and they were just property. And a lot of people didn't think that they had soul or anything. So I wrote one called Old Slave. And it's, look at me, older than old. My hair white as snow, my skin black as coal. In my eyes, you see empty black holes. You think or have been told, I have no soul. I care not what they say, whatever may be. You should have looked closer so you could see. God has always been right in here with me. That one there was Old Slave.
That's beautiful.
And then I have one that I really wrote behind the story of our family, somewhat of what Thomas and Benjamin together accomplished. And it's called Tell 'em. Tell 'em how I felt. Tell 'em how I hurt. Tell 'em how I worked every day except for church. Tell 'em I was a man who had 12 children and worked hard for his land. The same land my father worked for till he died, an old man. Tell 'em I was a holy man, a loving man, a gentleman. A man who wanted his children to have and to do better than I had, as my father wanted for us, that he ran from slavery to be a free man. Tell 'em my name, tell 'em your name, and how all we did was not in vain. I speak for Benjamin Burgett, my great-grandfather, a man who had a dream, just like Martin Luther King. My name, Sandra Burgett Miller. Tell 'em. And that there I dedicated to my family.
That's beautiful. Really, that's beautiful. You are a poet. I don't care what you say.
Oh, I thank you.
You are a poet. All right. Whew. You're knocking me out. I'm losing track of time totally. How are we doing back there on time? We're doing good? All right. Yeah, you're totally enamoring me. You're a great interviewer.
Oh, thanks.
Interviewee. Let's see. I have another question for you. Do you believe it's important for an individual to know their family history?
I really do. I think that it's important to know their family history. I think it's important to know, or to try to know as much as you can about your family, to know what they've done for you, or how far you've come because of them, or the things that they've suffered through to get you where you are. And it really doesn't just stand with blacks. It's all races that came to America in certain ways, and they know of their history, and they know how they got here, and how they came across the seas to make a better life for their families. And I really do believe that everybody should try to know about their family, so that they can find out what sacrifices they did as we sit here for us today.
Yeah, we have it easy compared to our ancestors in
Yes,
many
we
ways,
do.
no doubt. Now, your book is still in the process of maybe some editing and looking
Yes.
for a publisher and all of that.
I have 2 people that are interested in my book. Actually, they're waiting for me. And since I really wasn't into poetry, I was kind of lost. I could write poems, but then I really didn't know what to do with them after. So actually, my book is complete. I just have somebody proofreading before I send it out. And we'll go from there.
All right. And when it does come to the point where you are going to publish it and distribute it, you have to let us know so that we can get the
Sure.
word out. I'm sure a lot of people would love to get their hands on it. And is it poetry as well as the history of your
Yes,
families, both interspersed?
Yes, actually, the book will be called Ancestral Voices. I hear their calls within. And I would like to really thank Waverly for accepting and taking in the black slaves, the first 8 of black slaves, because one of them were my great-great-grandfather. And without Waverly, you know, having the sympathizers and running the slave owners back out of Waverly, many of us wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be sitting in your chair.
No, I'm very proud of it myself as a Northeastern Pennsylvanian that we, in Waverly, that part of our community was on the right side of history. You know, I'm very proud of that. It's good to hear these stories. It is.
Thank you very much.
Now, you have a lot of insight, obviously, and wisdom, and I want to tap into that. I want to ask you a couple of questions about terms and what they mean to you, all right? Strength, how do you define strength?
Strength comes from my family. As long as I can remember as a little girl, every time we would come in to visit Scranton, I did not know the town, but my grandfather would always pray when we came, and before we would leave, whether it be back to England or to Illinois, we'd have a big circle and he would pray for the whole family before we left. And he was a very strong man, and our family is very close, and I think that family brings strength. That's what I think strength comes from.
Family.
Family, to have a strong family and to stand by your whole family. My mother once said, if a shepherd loses a sheep, he has to go out and get it, bring it back. And I believe in that, so.
Okay, I like that definition. And by the way, as I sit here and listen to your family's history, it's obvious your family was one of the pioneering families in Northeastern Pennsylvania.
One of the first blacks. Actually, 1844 is very early.
Yeah.
And most of the other 8 that are up there that did come, I don't think that they're here. I think that they went different ways. I can't find anybody else from Scranton that actually comes from Waverly.
From another family.
Right.
Okay, a couple more terms for you. Integrity.
Integrity.
Yeah.
I think it comes from within. I think it's just something that you get from your family or the person that you are, to be truthful and strong, kind, open-minded to anything. I'm a very open-minded person, and that's what I say, integrity.
Integrity. 2 more. Love. How do you define love?
Love, I think everybody knows what love is. Well, what I define love is,
That's a tough one. Love. How do you define love?
I define love as I still have to stay with family. Family is where love starts. You learn love from your family. If you don't really learn love from your family, then you really don't have love. But if you have a very close-knit family and you have been shown love all your life and you've known your struggles and you have direction and you learn to love and you're raised in church and you believe in God and that all He has done and that all you have He has given to you, and if it wasn't for Him that you would not have, then you'd understand what, that's what I understand what love comes from. Because without loving God, you're nowhere. And if you don't love God's children, which is everybody, then you can't receive the love from God.
You wouldn't understand it if you okay.
Yes, you really wouldn't understand love.
Justice. How do you define justice?
Justice. I've defined justice, I leave it in the hands of God. Because if you have faith in the Lord, you will know that He will take care of everything. Everybody has to face Him. let him do his job. So as a person does something wrong, I let the Lord handle it. You take your problems to the Lord and you leave them. And I leave my justice for God to take care of. Because when you judge, then you're judged. And you're really not supposed to judge. You leave the judging for the Lord. So therefore, that's my answer to that one.
That's a good answer. I like it. You're very deep. You're a very deep person. We need a couple glasses of wine over here. More wine, please. What in life concerns you most? Last two questions. And what in life inspires you most?
What in life concerns me
Sandra.
most?
Yeah.
What in life concerns me most are my family, my children. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get them all to go to college, to do their best in life. They all know the story of their family, all the way down to my little 6-year-old. I would like to see them all succeed. I would like to make sure that they all have a successful life and have faith in the Lord. I've already told them without Him, you're not going anywhere.
You're a very spiritual person. That's obvious.
I have a very good very strong relationship.
You seem very calm and clear and content, so something's working right.
Yes, that's it. It's mainly, my biggest concern is my children.
And inspiration. What's your biggest inspiration in life?
My biggest inspiration in life is to actually, I would say my biggest inspiration in life is to actually be what God wants me to be successful, be more like Him. And actually Thomas, he inspired me to keep the family going, to keep what he started when he took that run in 1844. He did it for a reason, and he inspired me, and I don't want to let him down. I want to keep my children going, and I want to keep his legacy going, and all that he did, I don't want it to be in vain.
Well, I think you're doing a wonderful job.
Thank you very much.
It's an honor to talk with you on Stories, Wisdom, and Recipes.
Thank you very much.
We'll have you back again when the book is done. How about that?
Sure, no problem.
Sandra Burgett Miller here on Stories, Wisdom, and Recipes. And now we're going to take a little musical trip with Rich. And Austin's here.
Trio now.
It's a trio now.
Trio now.
And Mr. Woodyat. What's your first name again?
Mark.
Mark. And this song is an original by Rich. It's called Electric City. And Rich, this is about Scranton, right?
All about Scranton.
It's all about Scranton. Why don't you hit us with it, and then afterwards you can tell us.
Inspired by the bright light of the Electric City sign. Ready?
Awesome.
We tune because we care. 2, 3, 4.
If you ask me what's going on, everything all night long, yeah, well, the city is aglow. The streets are on fire with burning desire, yeah. The women this town, yeah, they love to party. Oh, they really get down, yeah, up in Greenwich, on the square. Yeah, there's girls, 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 all everywhere, yeah. Phoebe, I didn't know what it is. It's only you I'll miss, Michael, Poe and more. Yeah, we're gonna rock the block. We're gonna party the fall, yeah. Ask me, what's going on? Everything. All night long, all night long.
Electric City.
You guys are really, really incredible.
Huh? Right out of Marywood? Actually, Texas.
Texas.
Lone Star State, yeah.
Hill section boy, just like me. I looked out my window before we came here, and I saw him getting in his car. I said, "Hey, Mark, I need help. Can you help me out here?" And he came down.
That's the way the Electric City is. There's
the way
so
it is.
much talent. You look out the window and man, you can grab onto a piece in a second.
Well, how about the 12 people I had at the party the other night?
Yeah, over at Farley's,
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
a la Mike Stalter.
All that mugs. Thank you, Mike Stone.
Well, tell us a little bit about that song.
Electric City. Like I said, about when the light came on, the new Electric City sign over the building. I live up on the hill section, and I can see the city. And it starts off, the city is aglow, and that's what I kind of saw. And there's one line that you know, Mr. Robert Lettieri.
Oh, yeah.
What's going on? Everything, all night long. That's what I kind of got from him. It's a good spirit.
Yeah.
Hunter S. Thompson. What's going on? Not nothing. Everything.
Everything,
So,
exactly.
and proved by Connor McGuigan, 3:30 in the morning, after the CD release party.
This
He
past
walked
weekend.
down for his 2:30 a.m. show, and I swear to, I thought I was in Greenwich Village in 1967. It was tremendous.
Yeah, the
At
city's
3:30
alive.
in the morning.
The city's alive.
City's
And you guys are a big part of it. And thank you for bringing your talent and your energy on my show.
Thank you.
Really.
Thanks for having
Thank you
us.
very much.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
And you guys are going to be playing another tune later.
Yeah,
Exactly.
And you could and people could pick up the CD
Turn that
where?
around, show them the picture.
And they could pick it up at where? At Joe Nardone?
Joe Nardon's and Borders Bookstore.
All right. Excellent.
Very good. Very
Rich
good.
Jenkins.
We'll be back in a bit.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Austin, Mark, thank you. And now, without further ado, our good friend, Senor Sam Stavala.
How are you, Lorenzo?
How's it going?
Good, good.
You know, the cold. The last time people saw you, you
yeah.
were coughing and sneezing.
Oh, I'm sorry. I gotta apologize about that.
No, people thought I was cruel for like making you give a recipe. I said,
Well-
no, he did that on his own.
Yeah, you know, I'm figuring I'm on 10 minutes. I'll go over there. You know, I'll get through it somehow. You know, but as it turned out, I no sooner sat down and I had this coughing spell, and so I apologize. It's amazing how many people saw me and they mentioned it.
how
to
are
me.
you doing?
Yeah, how you feeling? I thought they were gonna bury you or something. You know, but yeah, I had a nasty cold last time, but. we have something that's today that's good for a cold.
Lentil soup.
Lentil soup.
Now,
yeah.
can I say one more thing before you get
Yeah,
into the
go
recipe?
ahead, go ahead.
I was taking a walk a couple of weeks ago. It was one of those Sundays where the weather broke. It was warm. I'm walking up your street, and I was across the street from your house, and I could smell food. I could smell food, right? And I'm like, my God, that's got to be Senor cooking. I walk up a couple of feet past your house, again, across the street, and there are 5 guys just standing around talking. And they're all guys that live
In the
neighborhood. And I said, guys, I could smell food from Senor Stavala's house walking by. He goes, what do you think we're doing here? Because we're hanging out here hoping he'll throw us a cannoli or something.
By the way, did you get your cannolis?
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
they were
good.
fantastic.
Yeah, good.
But it's good to have you back.
Well, it's good to be back. And,
Lentil soup today.
yeah, lentil soup. But I wanted to just comment on your guest here today. Boy, you're getting pretty classy.
She's amazing.
She's amazing. The group is amazing. Violins and strings. I love it.
Hey, what was that? Yeah, the staff,
The staff.
Sean's
that
wearing a
goes without-
tuxedo back
that
there.
goes without
Mark as
saying,
well.
the
They're both wearing
staff.
tuxedos.
But you've always had some.
We got a meat tray.
Some great guests. Some good music, mighty fine wine, and
You remember Mighty Fine Polenta?
Patty, and
Yeah.
some of those guys. We certainly have been have graced your show, and you've had some really good good talent.
Thank you, sir. And it's it's easy.
I
around
wonder
here.
what am I doing here?
You're a huge talent. You're a huge talent.
Yeah.
And there's tons of talent in this town. It's easy. It's easy to put on a show like this.
Yeah.
But enough about this show. Let's talk about lentil soup.
Yeah.
And how perfectly you timed this recipe, because it is lentil soup.
It
season.
still is,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
it
think.
still is. There's a lot of winter left, and as we go into those cold March winds, this is a nice comfort food that really sticks to the ribs. And it's hearty, and it's very economical to make, and it's good for you. Now, with that, let me just give the ingredients. Olive oil, 1 large onion chopped fine, 3 bay leaves, 2 carrots, cut those in a small dice, 2 celery ribs, those 2 are in a small dice, some flat leaf parsley, 3 garlic cloves, and you mince that up with the parsley. Chop the parsley and the garlic together. 1 6-ounce can of tomato paste, 1 large potato diced, a pound of lentils, and you want, for a pound of lentils, I don't know, 2.5 to 3 quarts of chicken stock. Or water. If you'd rather the water, I like the chicken stock.
Chicken stock, I think, is
Yeah. And it's the potato that fortifies this. You need something to fortify the dish. Now, some people use the chopped potatoes. Others use pasta. Well, I use both. I lessen the amounts, but use both.
The both of them.
The both of them. That's right. So in addition to those, we're gonna get some linguine.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we get some linguine and we break them into 1-inch pieces, and we get just a handful. So the starch in the soup is the potato that's in the small dice and the linguine. And of course, you'll need some good grated cheese to sprinkle on it.
What do you like, the Asiago or the...
No, I like the Parmigiano Reggiano is a good cheese.
Yeah,
Or the Locatelli is a
Locatelli.
good cheese. Yeah, but don't skimp. Buy a good one. Okay, those are the ingredients, and this goes together very easily in a slightly heated stainless steel pot, soup pot. To that, you add some olive oil, just enough to cover the bottom of the pot. And at that point, you add your minced chopped, you want the onions chopped nice and fine. Add your chopped onions, a pinch of salt, and 3 bay leaves. Saute the onion with the bay leaf in the olive oil, I don't know, say 4 or 5 minutes. And then at that point, add your diced carrot and your celery. And you're going to saute those aromatics all together for another 3 or 4 minutes. Add your parsley and garlic, blend it well, and then you add your tomato paste. Again, blend as it's starting to cook. Add your diced potato, the lentils, and again, blend with each addition. Add your chicken stock. Raise the heat, so you want to bring it to a boil, and then drop the heat so it just simmers. You just want it simmering nice, and simmer that till everything is tender. And then you put in the pasta and cook the pasta.
In a separate pot or the same?
No, right in the same pot. Put it right in the same pot, and put those in individual serving bowls. Now I like to sprinkle or drizzle on a little bit of extra virgin olive oil.
After everything's
in the
bowl.
in your serving bowls, and pass the cheese at the table. A nice glass. You think I'm going to say Pinot Grigio? No. With this you want like a Valpolicella, something a little heartier, and it should be, I think, a red wine. Although the Pinot Grigio, I mean, that goes with anything, in my opinion. But I would use a red wine with this. And as I said, you drizzle a little extra virgin olive oil on each serving, sprinkle with the grated cheese, a nice salad, some good Italian bread. You got a good, delicious meal for those remaining cold winter nights.
Now, the lentil, is that a pea? What is that exactly, lentil? Do you know? I don't. A
legume. How do you say that? Legume.
Legume. That's Sean Haggerty, our bean expert.
Leave it to Sean. See, he knows his stuff.
He eats a lot of beans.
Yeah, but
I am a vegetarian.
It's protein.
Yes, that's right. He is a
protein, rich in protein.
Rich in protein.
Yeah. So you have a little bit of the pasta and a little bit of the potato. You have the starch. You have the protein. You got your carrots and your celery. You got your vegetables. Really, it's a well-balanced dish. It's very economical, and it's as a matter of fact, when I go home tonight, Lorenz, that's what I'm having for supper.
Excellent.
I made it Monday. I made it, and when you keep it on for a day or two, it's even better.
It coagulates. It gets
well,
some
the flavors will develop and blend.
Synthesize.
They'll synthesize. In other words.
Yeah.
So that's that with the lentil soup.
I love it.
Yeah, it is. It's good.
Go crazy with lentil soup.
Yeah. So what's new? Anything else?
No, not really.
Yeah.
No, I look forward to the show. I look forward to hanging out with you and the other great people that come on.
I tell you, that's really nice. Some of these folks say you'd like to just have the opportunity to sit down and have a glass of wine and discuss some of these issues and these subjects, these topics.
We're going to be. We have some ideas about your segment.
About my segment?
Yeah, I've been talking to some of the management here.
Oh, boy.
We might be coming to your house one of these days.
Oh, that'd be great. We'd love to have you.
So we might be in his kitchen in the near future.
Holy, more wine.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's the truth, Sean.
We'll put on a good...
good spread?
We'll put on a good spread.
The library will pay for all of your...
I'm often... My wife says, geez, you should bring something there. But I come right from work, so I don't have a... just to let you sample a little bit,
We're going to come
So I
to your house.
apologize. I never had an opportunity to bring something. But, that'd be fine. You'd be welcome.
We'll work out the details.
Yeah.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Stories, Wisdom, and Recipes. My name is Lawrence Pugliese. It's a pleasure. A true pleasure to be here with you on Channel 61. I'd like to thank everyone who made today's show possible. And in 2 weeks, we're going to have a show that will be steeped in Irish flavor given that we are such a strong community in an ethnic way. When you look at the different neighborhoods, you'll find the Irish ethnicity, the Irish culture as one of the predominant. And each one of us, especially when we get closer to the parade, feels a bit Irish, even if you aren't by heritage. So in honor of that, in celebration of that, be prepared for an Irish flavor on the next Stories, Wisdom, and Recipes in 2 weeks. Until next time, remember your stories, wisdom, and recipes, and as they say up in Sport Hill, watch the ice. Ladies and gentlemen, Rich Jenkins, Austin, and Mark, with a tune called Paint You a Picture, written by Rich.
2, 3, 4.
Well, let me paint you a picture, a pretty little scene, a statue's portrait, and anything you can dream. Maybe what you want, maybe everything you need, but a promise and a cause for child, nothing is free. So be careful what you wish for, dear. 'Cause baby, it might come true, come true. Yeah, it happened to me, and it can happen to you. Well, I knew a girl, how to be a queen, married a king, and it turned out mean. Diamonds and castles, gowns by the score, but there was no love or life was a bore. So be careful what you wish for, 'cause baby, it might come true, will come true. Yeah, it happened to me, and it can happen to you. Austin Smith. Well, paint you a picture, a pretty little scene, a statue's portrait, and anything you can dream. Maybe what you want, maybe everything you need, but a promise and a cause for child, nothing is free. So be careful what you wish for, dear. 'Cause baby, it might come true, will come true. Rest
Bravo.
in peace, Hunter.
Bravo.
Just waiting for the title to roll.